Most people ignore pennies, but collectors know they can be worth a fortune. Rare dates, mint errors, and hidden varieties have turned ordinary 1-cent coins into treasures selling for hundreds, even thousands of dollars. Before you toss that penny aside, take a closer look. The coin in your pocket might just change your life. The 1976 United States 1-cent penny is a coin that countless people have seen and handled, yet few ever stop to consider its significance. At first glance, it appears to be just another Lincoln cent, struck in bronze like so many others, passing from pocket to pocket in everyday commerce. But when you take the time to look closer, to study its history, its context, its design, and the rare and unusual errors that emerged during its production, the 1976 Lincoln cent transforms from a simple 1-cent piece into a window into American coinage and an object of fascination for collectors around the world. The 1976 Lincoln cent was minted during an important time in United States history. America was celebrating its bicentennial, the 200th anniversary of the signing of the Declaration of Independence. To honor that milestone, the U.S. Mint struck special commemorative designs for the quarter, half-dollar, and dollar coins, all bearing the dual date 1776 to 1976. But interestingly, the cent and the nickel were left unchanged. Instead of featuring a special bicentennial reverse, the 1976 penny continued with its familiar Lincoln Memorial design. For some, this makes it an overlooked coin of the bicentennial year, but for collectors, that very fact adds to its intrigue. The obverse of the 1976 penny, like every Lincoln cent since 1909, features the right-facing profile of Abraham Lincoln, designed by Victor David Brenner. His initials, VDB, appear discreetly on the truncation of Lincoln's shoulder. The inscriptions "In God We Trust," "Liberty," and the date 1976 complete the design, with the mint mark D for Denver or none et al. For Philadelphia. On the reverse, designed by Frank Gasparo, is the Lincoln Memorial, flanked by the words United States of America and 1 cent, with E pluribus unum above the monument. Hidden within the design is a tiny depiction of the Lincoln statue seated in the memorial, a detail that collectors have always enjoyed pointing out. At BY 1976, the Lincoln cent was still being struck in its traditional bronze composition of 95% copper and 5% tin and zinc. This was just before the transition to copper-plated zinc cents in 1982. Each penny from 1976 weighed 3.11 grams, and billions were produced. The Philadelphia Mint struck over 4.6 billion, while the Denver Mint struck more than 4.2 billion, making the coin very common in circulation. With such high mintages, most examples are only worth face value, but as always in the world of numismatics, it is the exceptional survivors and the errors that tell the real story. One of the most exciting aspects of the 1976 cent is its error coins. Because of the massive production runs, mistakes were inevitable, and collectors today actively hunt down these rarities. Off-center strikes are among the most dramatic. A 1976 penny struck 20% or 30% off-center, especially with the date visible, can command between $50 and $200 depending on condition. A more extreme off-center strike, where half the design is missing, might sell for even more. Another fascinating error is the double strike, where the coin is struck more than once by the dies, leaving overlapping images. A bold 1976 double strike in mint state condition could easily sell for several $100s. Then there are the broad strikes, caused when the collar die fails and the coin expands beyond its normal dimensions. These errors are highly collectible and can range from $50 to $150. Clipped planchet errors, where part of the blank was accidentally cut off during production, also exist for the 1976 cent. These clipped planchet examples are obvious and interesting to collectors, typically valued from $30 to $100. And of course, there are the more subtle varieties, such as double die obverse or reverse coins, where parts of the design show doubling. A strong double die penny can be worth hundreds or even thousands depending on rarity and demand. Condition plays a critical role in determining the value of a 1976 penny. Circulated examples are common and worth little more than face value, but high-grade uncirculated coins are another matter. Collectors prize pennies graded MS66 and higher, with superb luster, sharp strikes, and minimal contact marks. Coins certified at MS67 or MS67 Plus can bring several $100s at auction, while the rare MS68 examples have been known to sell for over $1,000. When you think of a coin that billions of people spent carelessly, realizing that a few pristine examples survived untouched makes them very special indeed. The proof coins of 1976 add another layer of appeal. Struck in San Francisco with a mirror-like finish, these coins were made specifically for collectors and included in annual proof sets. Most proofs are common and sell for just a few dollars, But deep cameo examples, where the frosted design contrasts sharply with the mirrored fields, are highly sought after. In high grades, 1976 proof pennies can fetch $50 to $150, and if an unusual error proof were to surface, the price could soar much higher. Auction results show just how high values can climb for exceptional 1976 cents. While the typical coin is only worth a penny, rare varieties and high-grade survivors have sold for thousands. A 1976 Lincoln cent graded MS-68RD, with blazing red color and no distracting marks, brought in over $3,000 at auction. Dramatic mint errors from the same year have sold for hundreds and in some cases more than $1,000, depending on their uniqueness and eye appeal. These sales demonstrate the enduring demand for coins that stand out, even from a year when billions were produced. What makes the 1976 cent especially fascinating is its place in history. It sits right in the heart of the bicentennial celebration, a year when Americans were reflecting on 200 years of independence. The quarter, half dollar, and dollar of that year carried special designs, but the humble penny did not. Yet it is that very ordinariness, combined with the potential for extraordinary errors, that makes it so collectible today. For some, the 1976 cent is a reminder that even in a year filled with commemorations, the everyday coin in your pocket can hold stories worth remembering. The beauty of coin collecting is that it encourages us to look closely at the familiar. A penny might seem insignificant, but when you take the time to examine it, you discover layers of history, artistry, and rarity. The 1976 Lincoln cent is a perfect example. Most are worth only 1 cent, but a few have sold for hundreds, thousands, or more, depending on their grade or error type. Every one of them is a tangible link to America's bicentennial year, a piece of history that still circulates in pockets and change jars nearly 50 years later. So the next time you come across a 1976 penny, don't just toss it aside. Hold it up to the light, study the details of Lincoln's portrait, examine the Lincoln Memorial, and check for anything unusual. Who knows, you may be holding a coin that's far more valuable than you realize. And even if it's not worth thousands, it's still a little piece of American history, a survivor from a year of national pride and celebration. The 2005 United States 1-cent penny might look like a simple copper-colored coin that you pass from hand to hand without a second thought. But beneath that tiny disc lies a rich story of American history, evolving minting technology, surprising errors, and collectible potential that most people completely overlook. If you've ever tossed a penny into a jar or walked right past one on the sidewalk, you might want to think twice after hearing how a single 2005 penny, in the right condition or with the right error, can sell for thousands of dollars. And in some cases, auction prices have soared well beyond expectations, sometimes crossing the $10,000 mark for rare examples. And when it comes to the most exceptional specimens with dramatic minting errors or flawless grading, some have fetched astonishing sums at auction, proving that even a modern penny from 2005 can be a hidden treasure. Let's start with the basics. The 2005 1-cent coin is part of the long-running Lincoln cent series, which began in 1909 to honor the 100th anniversary of Abraham Lincoln's birth. The obverse still carries Victor David Brenner's iconic portrait of the 16th president, one of the longest-running coin designs in U.S. history. Surrounding Lincoln's profile are the inscriptions "In God We Trust" at the top, "Liberty" to the left, and the date 2005 to the right. Depending on the mint location, you'll also see a mint mark, P for Philadelphia, D for Denver, or S for San Francisco if it's a proof coin. The reverse still features the classic Lincoln Memorial design introduced in 1959, showing the neoclassical structure in Washington, D.C., with United States of America arched above, E pluribus unum beneath it, and 1 cent boldly displayed below. BY 2005. Lincoln cents were no longer made of the heavy bronze alloy used in their early years. Since 1982, they had been struck from a composition of 97.5% zinc with a thin copper plating, giving them that traditional penny color while significantly reducing production costs. This change also means that coins from this era tend to be lighter and more prone to surface damage over time, which makes finding pristine examples even more challenging and valuable. In terms of mintage, the U.S. Mint produced hundreds of millions of pennies in 2005, split between the Philadelphia and Denver mints. This makes the coin quite common in circulation, and most examples you encounter in your pocket change are worth only their face value. However, rarity in the coin world often comes not from how many were made, but from how few exist in near-perfect condition or how many display rare minting errors that turn them into collectible anomalies. One of the first areas collectors focus on is condition and grade. Coins graded by PCGS or NGC in MS-67 or MS-68. Mint state, condition with bright, uncirculated surfaces and no distracting marks can command strong premiums. A regular 2005 penny might be worth only a few cents in circulated condition, but in MS68 red, the highest attainable grade for most examples, auction results have hit several $100s. Registry set collectors, who compete to assemble the finest possible sets of each date and mint mark, are willing to pay big money for these top-graded coins. It's a reminder that condition matters enormously, even for modern coins. But where things get truly exciting and potentially lucrative is with error coins. The 2005 cent is known for a variety of dramatic minting mistakes, and these errors are what push values into the thousands. One of the most desirable types is a double die obverse, DDO, error, where the lettering, date, or Lincoln's features appear doubled due to a misalignment during the hubbing process. A strong DDO on a 2005 penny is rare, but when discovered, it can sell for hundreds or even thousands of dollars depending on the clarity and strength of the doubling. Another major error to watch for is the off-center strike. This happens when the coin blank is not properly seated in the coining chamber, resulting in a coin where part of the design is missing. Off-center errors that still show the date and a significant portion of the design, especially in high-grade condition, are highly collectible. A 2005 penny struck 50% off-center with a fully visible date has been known to sell for over $500, and more dramatic examples can bring even more. Then there are broad strikes, where the coin expands beyond its normal boundaries because the retaining collar was missing during striking. These coins can look slightly stretched and are quite eye-catching to collectors. While not as valuable as double strikes or major off-centers, broad strikes from 2005 still often sell for $50 to $150. A more dramatic variant is a double strike or multiple strike error, where the coin is struck more than once, producing overlapping images. These rare mistakes can command $300 to $800 or more. One of the most dramatic and valuable types of mint error involves coins struck on the wrong planchet. For example, a 2005 cent struck on a dime or nickel planchet, or on a foreign coin blank, is an extreme rarity. Because these are so visually unusual, often smaller, lighter, or a different color, they're instantly recognizable. Such errors can easily sell for thousands of dollars at auction. There have even been reported cases of 2005 cents struck on steel planchets or transitional blanks that sold for over $5,000. Proof coins from the San Francisco Mint can also carry premiums. These coins, struck with specially prepared dies and planchets, have mirror-like fields and sharp details. While most proof coins aren't rare, examples graded PR70 Deep Cameo, the highest possible grade, can bring strong prices, especially if they are error coins or part of a complete set. Some of the most eye-popping auction results for 2005 Lincoln cents have come from coins that combine both rarity and condition. For instance, a 2005 D Lincoln cent graded MS69 red, a near-perfect grade for a circulation strike, once sold for over $2,000. Meanwhile, a spectacular mint error involving a double strike in collar fetched nearly $3,000 at auction. These numbers might sound unbelievable for a coin that originally cost 1 cent to make, but they underscore the incredible demand for unique pieces in the numismatic market. What's truly fascinating is that many of these valuable coins were originally found in circulation. Everyday people have discovered valuable 2005 pennies in pocket change, bank rolls, and even old jars of coins that had been sitting for years. It's a testament to how opportunities for discovery still exist, and how an eye for detail can transform a common coin into a significant collector's item. This is why coin experts and hobbyists alike emphasize the importance of careful inspection. Use a magnifying glass to check for doubling on the date or lettering. Look at the edges to see if the coin is misaligned or unusually broad. Pay attention to the weight and diameter. If it feels lighter or heavier than usual, it could be struck on the wrong planchet. Even subtle errors can add significant value if they're certified by a reputable grading service. The 2005 penny might be modern, but its collectible story mirrors that of older coins. Rarity, condition, and historical context all combine to shape its desirability. It's a small piece of American history, a reflection of Lincoln's enduring legacy, and a fascinating artifact of the minting process. And while most examples remain common and worth just a cent, a select few have proven that even the humblest coin can achieve greatness when the right factors align. So before you dismiss that shiny 2005 penny in your change, take a closer look. It might be a flawless MS68 red that could bring hundreds at auction. It might be an off-center error worth several $100s. Or it might even be one of those dramatic double strikes or wrong planchet errors that have sold for thousands. The point is, you'll never know until you look, and in the world of coin collecting, that moment of discovery is part of the thrill and the end. The 2005 US 1 cent penny is more than just a piece of metal. It's a tiny time capsule, a chance at a hidden treasure, and a living reminder that history and value are often hiding in plain sight. Whether you're a seasoned collector or a casual observer, it's a coin worth paying attention to. After all, the next one you find could be far more valuable than a single cent. It could be the key to a collector's fortune. The 2010 United States 1-cent penny might look like just another copper-colored coin that most people hardly glance at before dropping into a jar or sliding across a counter. But for collectors, it tells a fascinating story. At first glance, it seems like an ordinary modern Lincoln cent, and in a sense it is because billions were struck for circulation. Yet when you look closer, both at its design and the occasional rare mint errors that slipped through production, you discover that even the humble 2010 penny can transform from a single cent into a highly desirable collectible, sometimes reaching extraordinary values at auction. To really understand why the 2010 penny stands out, you have to step back and look at its place in the long history of the Lincoln cent. The Lincoln penny was first introduced in 1909 to honor the centennial of Abraham Lincoln's birth, and it became the first U.S. coin to feature a real historical figure. For decades, the coin bore Victor David Brenner's classic portrait of Lincoln on the obverse and the iconic wheat ears on the reverse. In 1959, the reverse was replaced with the Lincoln Memorial, marking the 150th anniversary of Lincoln's birth. Then, in 2009, to celebrate Lincoln's bicentennial, the Mint issued 4 different reverse designs highlighting important chapters of his life. By 2010, the Mint was ready to launch a brand new reverse that would become the standard design moving forward, the Union Shield. The obverse of the 2010 penny continues with the familiar Lincoln bust, surrounded by the inscriptions Liberty, Indiana God We Trust, and the date. But the reverse introduces a striking new image, a Union shield with 13 vertical stripes bound together by a horizontal bar bearing the inscription E Pluribus Unum, symbolizing the unity of the original 13 states. Across the top of the shield rests a scroll with the single word 1 cent, while United States of America arcs across the upper rim. Designed by Lyndall Bass and sculpted by Joseph Mena, this new reverse marked a bold transition into a fresh era of Lincoln cent design. The 2010 penny was struck in 3 primary versions: Philadelphia with its P mint mark, Denver with the D mint mark, and San Francisco proof coins with the S mint mark. Like other modern cents, it was made of copper-plated zinc, a composition introduced in 1982 to reduce costs after the price of copper soared. Billions were minted at Philadelphia and Denver, while San Francisco produced proof versions for collectors. Most 2010 pennies in circulation today are worth only face value. They are extremely common, and the vast majority will never be worth more than 1 cent. But the world of numismatics is rarely about the ordinary, it's about the extraordinary. And in the case of the 2010 penny, that extraordinary value comes from 2 key factors: pristine condition and rare mint errors. Condition is everything in coin collecting. For modern coins like the 2010 penny, collectors search for examples in superb mint state grades. The highest-end pieces are those that survive without any contact marks, scratches, or signs of wear, retaining their full original luster. Coins graded MS67 or higher are genuinely rare for this year, and when they appear, collectors are willing to pay big premiums. Auction records show that some 2010 Lincoln Shield pennies in top grades have sold for hundreds of dollars, especially when certified by trusted grading services like PCGS or NGC. But where the 2010 penny becomes truly exciting is in the world of mint errors. Every year, a few coins escape the mint with mistakes, and for collectors these are not defects but treasures. Off-center strikes are a popular error type. A 2010 penny struck off-center, where part of the design is missing and the blank planchet is visible, instantly draws attention. The value depends on how far off-center the strike is. Examples with 50% or more off-center, especially when the date remains visible, can sell for $100 to $300. Broad strikes are another dramatic error. When the retaining collar fails during striking, the coin spreads out wider than normal, often with a distorted rim but still showing the full design. A 2010 penny broad strike in mint state can bring anywhere from $75 to $200 depending on its condition and clarity. Clipped planchets also add intrigue. These occur when a blank is punched from a sheet of metal too close to the edge, leaving a crescent-shaped clip. A clean, visible clipped planchet error from 2010 can fetch $50 to $150, while multiple clips or dramatic shapes can command more. Then there are double strikes and multiple strikes. A coin struck more than once, especially if the strikes are misaligned, creates a remarkable error piece. A 2010 penny with 2 clear strikes overlapping or offset can easily be worth $200 to $500. Sometimes even more if the error is dramatic. One of the rarest and most valuable error types is the wrong planchet strike. If a 2010 Lincoln cent was accidentally struck on a planchet meant for a dime, nickel, or foreign coin, it becomes a true rarity. Such errors can command thousands of dollars at auction. Imagine finding what looks like a dime, but with Lincoln's portrait and a 2010 date. It's the kind of oddity that turns heads and opens wallets in the collecting world. The proof coins from San Francisco add another layer of value. Collectors look for coins with perfect mirror-like fields and frosted devices, often graded PR70 deep cameo. While most proofs are common, the perfect ones are always in demand. A flawless 2010 S-proof penny can sell for $50 to $150, and even more if it's part of a high-grade registry set. Auction results tell the real story. While most 2010 pennies in average condition remain worth only a cent, special pieces have shattered expectations. For example, a pristine 2010 Lincoln Shield cent graded MS68RD once sold for well over $1,000. Error coins, depending on their type and severity, have fetched anywhere from a few $100s to several thousand. The most dramatic examples, off-center strikes combined with partial blockage or wrong planchet errors, are the kind of finds that collectors dream of discovering in circulation. This incredible range of value, from a single cent to thousands of dollars, creates an atmosphere of suspense and excitement around the 2010 penny. Every time a collector searches through rolls of pennies from the bank, they know that tucked among the billions of ordinary coins, there could be one extraordinary survivor. And the thrill of possibly finding such a treasure is part of what keeps the Lincoln cent one of the most beloved and heavily collected coins in U.S. history. The 2010 penny also represents the beginning of a new era in design. The Union Shield reverse is bold, patriotic, and symbolic, connecting America's present to its foundational history. This design would carry forward for years, cementing 2010 as a year of transition. Just as the Wheat cent and Lincoln Memorial cent defined earlier generations, the Shield cent marked a new chapter that continues today. For collectors, the lesson of the 2010 penny is simple but powerful. Never overlook the ordinary. Even the coins jangling in your pocket change could turn out to be miniature treasures. With a keen eye and a bit of luck, you might stumble upon an MS68 gem or a dramatic mint error that transforms a penny into a prize worth hundreds or even thousands of dollars. So the next time you pick up a 2010 penny, take a closer look. Examine the details of the Union Shield, check for unusual shapes or off-center strikes, and pay attention to its overall condition. Because in the fascinating world of coin collecting, even the smallest coin can carry the biggest surprises. And the 2010 penny proves that 1 cent can, under the right circumstances, be worth far more than anyone would expect.